What's going on, YouTube Nation? I'm the Coffee Bean GM, and today we are going to build a map, sort of like the one that's here on the screen at the moment. I did another mapping video. It seemed to help out quite a bit of people. People had some questions, some feedback and stuff, so I decided to do up another video, and I'm actually going to do this as a series, breaking each step down into its own little video of 5 to 10 minutes, give or take. And with that, we're going to be building a more realistic map compared to my other one. My last one that I did was a little more of a parchment layered sort of map, something a little more fantasy-ish for the players. This one I'm actually going to create something that's a little more realistic. So this will be our first step that we're going to be aiming for. We're going to be setting up our green land for the continent, our water, and giving it a bit of a bevel, and kind of just bringing things to life a little bit. So this is our first goal with this video, is what you see here on the screen. So what you're going to do, clean up here to File, open up Gimp, File, New. You're going to want to look at your new things. You want the width to be 1200, your height to be 1200, go with pixels. Be sure to click the advanced options. Your X and your Y resolution should be turned up to 200. This is going to be a bit of a bigger picture. If you have an old, crappier computer or something, it might have to struggle a little bit, but you should be okay for the most part. It doesn't take too much resources. You also may have it so that your computer automatically gives you transparency on your fill width. It doesn't really matter, to be honest, but being that mine is already set up with a background color, you're probably going to want to change yours over. That way you can follow step by step. It'll just be a little bit easier for you. And in my case, the background color is white. This black is the foreground, white is the background. So that'll make us a plain white canvas here. So click OK, and there we go. That's our plain white canvas that we're going to be using. So let's start building our landmass. We're going to give it a little bit of color, and that's where we'll stop this first simple little tutorial here. So what you want to do, swing up here to filters. You're going to want to go down to render. You want to go to clouds and solid noise. Now you're just going to want to change your X and Y or size both to 2.5. You can't adjust these up and down from there, but I found that the 2.5 seems to give me the best results time after time. Your detail, put it at 15, and you want to use this randomizer right here. Be sure that this is clicked. This will give you a random seed using these stats, or this these inputs, and give you what looks to be clouds here. And you click OK. See, the solid noise will load up down here at the bottom. It does take a minute. This is a big picture, as I said. There we go. So this is what we're going to change into a continent, a landmass, and water. And how we're going to do that is we're going to swing up to the colors here, and I'm going to adjust around with a threshold. That gives us black and white without any of that gray stuff in between. Now, it doesn't matter if you want to make the black a landmass or the white a landmass. Kind of look at it, this one I'm seeing a little bit more as the white being the landmass. But I'm not, come up here, you can slide this little slide back and forth and get some different areas. Now in this case, it would be the black would be land. I think the white would be water, maybe lakes or something, but I don't want to quite go that direction. I'm going to swing it back the other way a little bit. And I like that. So I'm looking at this one as the white being the landmass and the black being the water. So I'm actually gonna just a little more. Alright, yeah. So the white is going to be my landmass and the black will be the water. I like the way that that's laid out now. Alright. So once we have our threshold set up here and we can figure out what we want, we're going to swing over here and we're going to duplicate this layer. That way we have two different layers. If you click on one, hit space bar, you can rename it. So we're going to rename that one land. Click down here, space bar, rename this water, and then hit enter. And this one changed back because I forgot to hit enter. So space bar, land, enter. We have our duplicate layers. They're named up. We're going to click on this one and we want to add alpha channel. What this does is give it a clear, transparent background. And then we want to click on this one over here and do the same thing, add alpha channel. That gives both layer a transparent background, which is pretty important. Otherwise, everything will end up becoming out, whatever color you disappear, it'll be the opposite color. So we want to make sure you get those alpha channels in. Then we're going to do our color picker. We're going to swing back up to land. And now, because we want this one to be only land, we want to click on the water, which is the black color. give it a click. It'll select all of the black. Okay, and then we're going to hit delete. Now down here it didn't change when I hit delete, but if you notice up here it did. It got rid of the black, making it transparent. Which, if I just hide this layer, that makes it so the water isn't there. It's only land. Okay. Now we're going to do the same basic thing. We want to click over onto the water, use our color picker, but because this is the water layer, we want to keep the water. That means we need to delete the land. So we're going to click the white, which is the land in this case. Make sure you're on the water layer, hit delete. And again, this picture here doesn't change any, but if you look up here, it added the transparency where all the water is. And if I hide the land, there we go. It only shows what's going to end up being water. So let's do select, none, get that off there. So now we have two layers. One is going to be for land, one is for water. Next thing we need to do is be able to see these as a little more color, be able to recognize them. So since the land is white, we're going to swing up to colorize. And we're going to put in some different values here. We want 80. Come down. We want 70 for the saturation. And we want minus 80 for the color. And there we go. That gives us our land, which is all green, just as we need it. Okay. Now, if you decide to go the opposite direction and you made all of your landmass the black and the water white, then I will put down into the description of this video the numbers that you want to use to at least get you started. But if that's the case, then your land, when you go up to colorize it, if it's black, you're going to want 110 for the hue, 100 for the saturation, and 15 for the lightness. And that'll give you a greenish color for the land masses if they begin with black. Since we did white, we put these values in, we're going to hit OK. So now our land is all green. Now we got to change this water over so it actually looks blue. So you're going to click over to the water layer, go up to the top, colors, click colorize, and black water, to get it turned blue, you want to crank this one up to 200. I'll put this one up at 60, and this one gets pulled all the way up to 50. And you can see it's starting to turn blue now, and 50. And that gives our water the blue color that we need. Okay, now again, if you went with white water, then your hue is going to be at 230, your saturation will be at 70, and your lightness will be minus 45 or negative 45. And that'll give you a blue color to start with. And again, once you get these, you can adjust them and play with them a little bit to suit your taste and what you're going for, but these are good base numbers to start off of and work with. So click OK. Alright, so we have our green land, we got our blue water, everything's set up on that case. Next thing we're going to do is add a bevel to this. So we want to click on the land. We want the land to look like it's rising up out of the water. So make sure you're on your land layer. You're going to go under your filters. We want to go down to decor, and we're going to add a bevel. Mine's already set, but you want to make sure that neither of these are ticked, and your thickness you're going to want to put up at 9. And then you hit OK. You'll see a ridge appear all around the land mass, all around the green, and it'll blink a few times as it grows bigger, and then it'll build in this bevel. So you're going to hit OK. There's our land building in. And there's our bevel. So this is our basic ending of where we want to get at step 1. Now, one cool little thing you need to take notice of, though, is that when it creates a bevel, it does so given the southern areas this darker edge all around here, and it gives the northern side of the map, if your typical compass, this lighter edge. What that means is that, let me zoom back out here, our light source is coming from this area up here and shining down onto this world, if you will. That way, the land masses that are away from the sunlight are darker, while the ones facing it, like down here, is lighter. And that'll actually become important when we do terrain and mountains and things like that. We want to know where this light source is coming from, in theory, so that everything is uniform and everything looks the same. So that's the end of step 1. This is going to give you your basic land mass, your water, and bevel it up, look like it's coming up out of the water. And step 2 video, we're going to actually add a little bit of texture to this, making it look a little more realistic and giving it some life. So thanks for joining me on this first step. keep practicing, keep building. You'll be able to crank out some awesome maps in no time. Just stick with me and we'll go through step by step. So thanks everybody and enjoy your day.